Morning. Welcome to Bible and Bonnie in a Year, day 39. We're going to be doing legs today, but as you can see behind me, you're going to need something special. We're going to be doing those reverse curls, and we're going to try the adductor plank. So you're going to need something heavy, like a couch or a weighted chair. Don't worry about the weights. Those are there to keep it down because you need to slide your feet under for that reverse plank, and you're going to need to put your leg on top for the reverse curls, and you're going to need to put your leg on top for the plank. Okay, so don't be intimidated by the heavy weights. They're just there to hold it down. You need your regular weights, and we're going to be in Leviticus and Matthew, so let's get started.
Leviticus 4.
All right, we're going to warm up with just some squats.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord, concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin which he hath sinned a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord.
And then just a half jack.
And shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood, and bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord,
just like you're
before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away, as it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the burnt offering.
Deadlift and heel toe lifts.
And the skin of the bullock and all his flesh, with his head, and with his legs, and his inwards, and his dung. Even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall he be burnt. And if the whole congregation of Israel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty, when the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the congregation shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring him before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock before the Lord, and the bullock shall be killed before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, even before the veil. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar which is before the Lord, that is, in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take all his fat from him,
back to lunges,
and burn it upon the altar. And he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for a sin offering. So shall he do with this. And the priest shall make an atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the congregation. When a ruler hath sinned, and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord his God, concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty, or if his sin, wherein he hath sinned, come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat, and kill it in the place where they killed the burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of burnt offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, while he
Back to
doeth somewhat
lunges.
against any of the
One more
commandments of the
time.
Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin, which he hath sinned, come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, the kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin, which he hath sinned. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt
Awesome.
offering,
Deadlift.
and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away from off the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savour unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. And if he bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar according to the offerings made by fire unto
Then we're
the
going to do a
Lord.
side bend.
And the priest
All
shall
right.
make an atonement
Get
for his
wide.
sin
Down,
that he hath
up.
committed, and it shall be forgiven him. Leviticus 5. And if a soul sin, and hear the voice of swearing,
Together.
and is a witness, whether
Just
he
gonna go
hath
down.
seen or known of it,
And up.
if he do not utter it, then he shall bear
Let's
his
just do one
iniquity.
side so we're not too dizzy.
Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be hidden from him,
Other side.
he also shall be unclean and guilty. Or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a soul
Like
swear,
squats again.
pronouncing with his lips to do evil, or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knoweth of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these. And it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that he hath sinned in
And
that
that's
thing.
side bend.
And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Lord for his sin which he hath sinned,
Working our side
a
abs.
female from the flock, a
And the hip
lamb or a kid of the goats, for a
abductors.
sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. And if he be not able to bring a
And stretch in the
lamb,
back.
then he shall bring for his trespass which he hath committed 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons unto the Lord, one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder.
Nice. One
And
more
he
time.
shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the
Nice and
altar,
wide.
and the
Down.
rest of the blood
Stew
shall be
roll
wrung
spots,
out
these
at
are
the bottom
sometimes
of the
called.
altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer the second for a burnt offering according to the manner, and the priest shall make an atonement for him for his sin which he hath sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he be not able to bring 2 turtle doves, or
Side
2
bend.
young pigeons, then he that sinned shall bring for his offering the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall put no oil upon it, neither shall he put any frankincense thereon, for it is a sin offering. Then shall he bring it to the priest, and the priest shall
Okay.
take his
Other
handful
side.
of it, even a memorial thereof, and burn it on the altar, according to the offerings made by fire unto the Lord. It is a sin offering. And the priest
You
shall
can
make an
throw one
atonement
leg
for
out
him
if you
as
really
touching
want
his
to.
sin that he hath sinned in one of these,
We'll save that for next time.
and it shall be forgiven
All right.
him. And the
Here we go.
remnant shall be the priest's, as a meat offering.
our third set.
And the Lord spake unto Moses,
I'm going
saying,
to demonstrate because it
If a
is a
soul
little
commit
different.
trespass, and sin through ignorance in the holy things of the
Reverse
Lord,
leg curls.
then he shall
Right?
bring for his
Feet under
trespass
something
unto the
heavy,
Lord
pause
a
if you
ram
need to
without
get it.
blemish out of the flocks, with
Down.
thy estimation by
Push
shekels
up.
of silver,
We've done that.
after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering.
The hip adductors.
And he shall make amends for the harm that he hath done in the holy
Your
thing,
leg up.
and shall add the fifth part thereto, and give it
Knee
unto
or
the
foot.
priest.
Come
And the
up
priest shall make an
You're
atonement
gonna
for
bring
him
that
with the ram
bottom
of the
leg
trespass
up.
offering,
to the top.
and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin,
And then
and
just a
commit any of
scissor
these
beat,
things which are
please.
forbidden to be done by the commandments of the
This.
Lord,
All
though
right,
he
let's
wist
do
it
it.
not, yet is he
Reverse
guilty,
leg curls.
and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring
In.
a ram without blemish out of the flock, with thy
Far as you
estimation
can go
for a
down.
trespass offering
Back
unto the
up.
priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance, wherein he
So now your
erred
chair needs to
and
be
wist
heavy.
it not, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering; he hath certainly trespassed against the Lord. Matthew 24. And Jesus went out
Leg up.
and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Bottom
And
leg
Jesus
to
said unto
top.
them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these
On the
things
side.
be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? Then Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass.
Scissor
But the
beat.
end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. All these
Good.
are the beginning of sorrows.
Ugh.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall
Again?
kill you. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Feet under.
Shall many be offended, and shall
Reverse
betray
leg
one
curls.
another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy
Doing
place.
great.
Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which
Okay,
be in
then.
Judea flee into the mountains.
Adductor or
Let him which
adductor
is on the
plank.
housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Leg up.
Neither let him which is in the field return
Lift
back to
forward
take
up.
his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great
It's
tribulation,
okay if your groin is
such as was
painful
not since the
tomorrow.
beginning of the world to this time. No,
gonna
nor
be
ever shall
sore.
be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not.
Awesome.
For there shall arise
Scissor
false
beat.
Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the
Take
secret
it out. Last
chambers,
set.
believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of
Feet
the
under.
east,
Reverse leg
and
curls.
shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Here
For
we go.
wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened,
Try and keep
and the
it
moon
straight
shall
as you
not give her
can.
light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all
You
the
can do this
tribes
with
of
a
the
ball
earth
if you
mourn,
need.
and and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves,
gotta find a name for this.
ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark,
Says there be.
and knew not until the flood came,
I might have a
and took them
bonus.
all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, the one shall be taken, the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken,
Crisscross might
and
be
the
a
other
better
left.
name.
Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the
Bridges.
thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. But, and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of,
Other side.
and shall cut him asunder, and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Wow. Good job today. Intense reading, but good to remember the reason that we do this is to be prepared, to have the Word of God in our hearts and minds, and strong bodies to serve. So get out there and use your body today. Hamstrings. Switch. All right. Have a great day. Good work. We'll be doing arms tomorrow, so take care.